You don't have to be good now. You just have to be eccentric. You just have to do something stupid. You just have to get people to follow you.
Here's something wild about Denzel Washington that Hollywood never wanted anyone whispering about. Behind that polished image of a two-time Oscar legend sits a truth he locked away for years, a truth that cuts deep enough to make even his calmest moments look like self-control under pressure. 6 people he once called idols, friends, even brothers in the craft, ended up crossing him so hard that he stopped trusting nearly anyone around him. And now, at 70, he isn't hiding behind polite smiles anymore. He's finally letting people know what really went down, and the names involved will make your jaw drop. Will Smith. The moment Denzel walked away for good. It sounds unreal, but the man who pushed Denzel's patience to the edge wasn't some loud newcomer or a Hollywood troublemaker. Please subscribe. It means a lot to me and costs you nothing. It was Will Smith. Yes, the same Will Smith people once treated like the most likable face in the industry. But the night of the 2022 Oscars flipped everything upside down. That one slap wasn't just drama for Denzel. It was a warning sign he had spent his whole life trying to avoid. The second Will stormed onto that stage and hit Chris Rock, the whole room froze like everyone forgot how to breathe. Cameras caught the wild moment, but what they didn't show was Denzel leaving his seat, stepping into that storm, and dropping a line that felt like it came from a pastor standing at the front of a church. At your highest moment, be careful. That's when the devil comes for you. His voice was calm, but the message? Sharp enough to slice through the chaos. And make no mistake, he wasn't comforting Will, he was warning him. That moment flipped a switch inside Denzel. Insiders later said he pulled away immediately. No anger, no public statements, just pure distance. He didn't blast Will in interviews, he didn't shade him online, but he stopped picking up calls, stopped showing up to private events, and quietly told close friends that the industry forgot what real discipline even looks like. And when that line made its way around Hollywood, people understood exactly who he meant. To Denzel, that slap wasn't just a mistake, it was a betrayal. He backed Will for years, defended his professionalism, vouched for his focus, believed in his control, and then, boom, gone in seconds, right on live television. Since then, there's been no collaborations, no friendly photos, no public support, just silence and space. Jared Leto, the rival Denzel never asked for. And then there's Jared Leto, someone no one expected to end up anywhere near Denzel's private list. Yet somehow he slid straight into that exact spot, not because of a fight, not because of an argument, but because the industry tried to turn admiration into competition. When The Little Things was announced, magazines lost their minds. They plastered headlines like "Leto meets his match" and "2 generations of greatness" across every cover. Instead of praising the work, they tried to make it look like a showdown. And Denzel, he wasn't impressed, not even a little. That kind of talk didn't honor his career. It irritated him. It felt like Hollywood was trying to push a rivalry he never asked for. Things started slipping downhill fast. Leto stayed in character on and off set, walking around with that intense method actor energy, acting mysterious, avoiding normal conversation. Denzel, who believes in clean, focused work, saw all of that as unnecessary noise, and people on set could feel the tension growing in the background every day. Denzel didn't hate him, he just didn't respect the circus that followed him. From that moment on, he kept conversation short, kept walls high, and made sure no one confused polite professionalism with friendship. Because once Denzel sees a pattern he doesn't like, he walks away without looking back. Once filming kicked off, Leto showed up acting like he just rolled off a tour bus instead of a movie set. Dark glasses on indoors, quiet whispers about method acting floating everywhere. And those strange little gifts he kept dropping on random crew members, like he was building a secret fan club. Reporters ate it up like it was the coolest thing ever, but Denzel wasn't impressed for 1 second. To him, it felt like a whole extra performance happening outside the camera, a show inside a show, and not the good kind. Someone eventually asked Denzel how he felt about Leto's process, and he just hit them with a straight, flat line. "Whatever works for him, I do the acting part." The whole room felt that sting. It wasn't loud, but it was sharp enough that everyone knew exactly what he meant. Behind the scenes, the air got colder by the day. Leto tried to butter him up with compliments, calling him a master, but Denzel wasn't falling for any of it. He kept conversations short, stayed locked in, never played along with the mystery vibe. Then came the rumor everyone on set whispered about. Supposedly, Denzel told a crew member, "That boy's chasing mystery instead of truth." Whether he said it exactly like that or not, the energy matched how he was moving. And once filming wrapped, Denzel didn't bother showing up for the joint interviews. Leto praised him in public like everything was cool, and Denzel didn't react at all, like the man didn't even exist. Chris Pratt, the smile Denzel couldn't stand. Now, picture this. Chris Pratt's high energy, always smiling, goofy charm walking right into Denzel Washington's world of strict focus and laser discipline. On paper, it looked perfect, but on set, it had sparks flying in all the wrong directions. Behind the camera, that tension was so thick you could almost trip over it. Pratt's upbeat jokes and non-stop enthusiasm clashed with Denzel's quiet, serious style, but both of them kept it professional, at least while filming. The real blow-up didn't even happen on set. It happened months later. Pratt went on The Tonight Show and dropped a joke that blew up online in minutes. He told the host, "Working with Denzel was great, but he's so serious. It's like he doesn't know laughter exists." The audience roared. The clip spread everywhere, and everyone thought it was harmless fun. Except Denzel. People close to him swear he watched that clip twice with zero expression, then said one cold line, "Only he wants to be funny at my expense. Let him." That was it. That was the moment the connection between them cut clean in half before it ever even had a chance to grow. Soon after, rumors started circulating that Denzel canceled a big magazine cover that was supposed to feature both of them. Official story? Scheduling issues. But everyone inside the studio system already knew what time it was. Pratt tried to reach out quietly through mutual contacts, but Denzel's camp shut it down with, "He's unavailable." And when award season rolled around, they never stood next to each other once. Not on carpets, not backstage, not even in seating charts. A crew member from the Magnificent Seven once spilled a line that summed Denzel up perfectly. "Denzel doesn't yell, he disappears." One day, you're in his space, getting that quiet respect he gives people who handle their work right. And the next day, you're wiped from his world like you were never there. And that's exactly how Chris Pratt faded out. Fast, clean, and with no second chances. Ethan Hawke, the partner who crossed the line without even meaning to. Taking the 4th spot on Denzel Washington's private Never Again list is Ethan Hawke, the same co-star who helped him deliver a performance people still talk about today, and then accidentally broke the bond that came with it. When Training Day dropped in 2001, their chemistry was electric. Fans loved it, critics praised it, and awards season rolled in hot. Denzel walked away with Best Actor. Ethan snagged a nomination. It should have been a celebration. But backstage? Something shifted. A few weeks later, Ethan gave an interview that still follows him around like a shadow. He said, "That script did most of the work. Anyone would have looked good in it." It sounded almost harmless to the public, but to Denzel? Friends say he took it as a quiet slap from someone who should have understood the craft on a deeper level. He called it a knife with a smile, according to people close to him. During a 2002 reunion photo shoot, Ethan tried to lighten the moment. He joked, "Guess I should have said less back then." Denzel didn't even crack a grin. He just replied, "You already did enough talking." One line, calm and sharp. That was the end of whatever friendship they had left. And when Training Day hit its 20-year anniversary, the studio invited both men to sit on a panel together. Hawk showed up ready to celebrate the legacy. Denzel declined without hesitation. His team said he was traveling, but insiders whispered the truth. He wasn't sharing a stage with someone who once questioned his legacy out loud. Mark Wahlberg, the co-star who pushed Denzel too far. Now here's where things get messy, because fifth on Denzel's personal never again list is Mark Wahlberg. Yes, that Mark Wahlberg, the tough Boston guy who thought teaming up with Denzel on Two Guns was going to be a smooth ride straight to another hit. Instead, it turned into a behind-the-scenes showdown. Both actors still pretend never happened. The drama started before the first camera even rolled. Wahlberg walked into table reads, cracking jokes left and right, throwing out ad-libs, turning serious scenes into freestyle comedy bits. He bragged about improvising his way through the script, acting like rewriting lines on the fly was some kind of superpower. Denzel just sat there in silence, eyes locked, not laughing, not annoyed, just studying him. After 10 long minutes, Denzel leaned forward and delivered a line that hit harder than any punchline. "You do your thing, I'll do mine, and we'll see what the editor keeps." The room went dead quiet. Wahlberg tried to laugh it off, but it was clear Denzel wasn't joking. From that moment, every scene became a quiet test. Who would stay focused, who would break character, and who the editor would choose to honor in the final cut. People on set said the energy turned icy. Wahlberg tried to match Denzel's intensity, but Denzel wasn't playing a game. He was working, and nothing bothers him more than someone treating the job like a playground. By the time filming wrapped, whatever chance they had at becoming friends was done. No joint interviews, no bonding moments, no handshake photos. Just two men walking off in different directions, and neither one looking back. Everyone laughed awkwardly, trying to play off the moment, but Denzel wasn't smiling, and that silence hit harder than any shout. From that day forward, the energy on set flipped. You could feel it in the air, not loud, not messy, just tight. People walked softer, talked shorter, and kept one eye on Denzel anytime he stepped into a scene. Things only heated up when the cameras started rolling. Wahlberg allegedly tried to pitch new dialogue straight to the director, asking for extra banter between their characters like he was building a buddy comedy inside a serious film. Denzel overheard him and didn't raise his voice. He just turned to the assistant director and said, "I don't banter, I deliver." One clean sentence that summed up the entire situation. No extras, no sugarcoating, just truth with weight behind it. Crew members still whisper about the day Wahlberg showed up late and blamed traffic. Denzel looked at him with that calm stare and said, "Traffic didn't stop me." No attitude, no disrespect, just a reality check delivered with perfect precision. That moment hit Wahlberg so hard that he backed off instantly. From then on, he kept his distance like the floor was hot every time Denzel walked in. By the time the press tour rolled around, Denzel was done performing off-camera. Whenever journalists asked about their chemistry, he'd smile politely and drop vague answers like, "We came, we worked, we left." Meanwhile, Wahlberg was out here pouring compliments everywhere, calling Denzel a legend and a master, but Denzel didn't echo a single word of it. Behind closed doors, he reportedly told his team he'd never share a frame with that man again. And just like that, the planned Two Guns sequel disappeared from the calendar and never returned. Tyrese Gibson, the protege who talked himself right out the door. The final name on Denzel Washington's private Never Again list might shock some people: Tyrese Gibson, the singer-turned-actor who went from fanboy to outcast faster than anyone expected. Their story is basically the perfect Hollywood warning about what happens when admiration flips into accusation. Tyrese had always looked up to Denzel. He quoted him in interviews, studied his delivery, even said Denzel was the man I model my discipline after. People respected how much he admired him. But everything fell apart in 2014 when Tyrese went on The Breakfast Club and dropped a comment that spread across the industry in minutes. He said, "Denzel never gave me a shot, he keeps the gate locked." That line went viral instantly, especially among younger black actors who felt the pressure of the industry. Some people agreed, some argued, but one thing was certain. The message reached Denzel before the afternoon was over. Friends say he wasn't furious, he was disappointed. He told one confidant, "You don't demand mentorship, you earn it." And that right there was the truth Denzel lived by. But the damage was already locked in. That same week, 2 film offers that were rumored to pair them together suddenly vanished without a sound. Official line? Scheduling conflicts. But everybody working behind the scenes knew better. Denzel wasn't signing up for a project with someone who dragged his name into a complaint on national radio. After that moment, Tyrese was out. No joint projects, no quiet reconciliation, no second chances, just silence and distance. Denzel's signature way of closing the book when someone crosses a line he can't unsee. Months later, Tyrese tried to clean things up by saying his words were taken out of context, but every time he tried to fix it, he ended up repeating the same story in a different tone. One interview he'd praise Denzel like he was talking about a superhero, and the next he'd call him distant or cold like they had unfinished business. That back-and-forth energy sealed his fate completely. Denzel doesn't wrestle with drama, he deletes it. Once the line is crossed, he doesn't argue, doesn't clap back, doesn't trade interviews. He just closes the door and never opens it again. Years later, a reporter asked Denzel about mentoring younger black talent. He gave a thin smile and answered with a line that felt like it carried a whole history behind it. "They don't need advice, they need discipline." Fans online didn't miss the message. They knew exactly who that was aimed at. Denzel wasn't saying names, but the silence around that sentence shook louder than anything he could have said out loud. Meanwhile, Tyrese still goes on social media calling Denzel the greatest of all time, telling stories about how much he learned from watching him, and showing respect whenever his name comes up. But in Denzel's world, silence is not softness. It's final. When someone breaks the rule of loyalty, especially in public, he doesn't throw shade. He simply moves on like there's nothing left to discuss. Respect means everything to him. Private conversations stay private. Public praise stays consistent. And once that line is crossed, Denzel never circles back to rebuild what someone chose to break. That's why Tyrese ended up being the last name on a list nobody wants to be on. The quiet list of people Denzel Washington will never work with again. So now you know the 6 names Denzel Washington erased from his world. 6 people who went from allies to outsiders without a single public explosion. Fame turned them into stars, but betrayal turned them into memories. And the wild part? This is only the surface of what Hollywood hides behind the bright lights. Which one shocked you the most? Drop your thoughts in the comments, and don't forget to like, share, and subscribe so you never miss the real stories hiding under Hollywood's biggest secrets, only here on Golden Scape.